All right, this is to help you to get started with section 7.3. I should put that up here. This is section 7.3. And the first few questions, these are just from your textbook. I'm just going to go through them. So you're given an equation y plus 3 equals x minus 5, which is basically in slope point form. And they want you to convert it to y equals mx plus b form and to standard form. So here's slope intercept form, and here's standard form. So we start out with y plus 3 equals x minus 5. And we have to get rid of the plus 3 on the left, so everything else is on the right side. So what I would do is I would subtract 3 from both sides. So that leaves me with y on the left side. X, I keep the x term first, and then negative 5, keep in mind this is negative 5 minus 3 is minus 8. And that's your final answer. To get it in standard form or general form, what I want to do is I want to get everything to one side and set the other side equal to 0. It doesn't matter which way you move things. You can move things to the left or move things to the right. I'm going to move things to the left just because. So the first term is my x term first, so I want to get rid of my x term on this side first, so I subtract it off. Gets rid of it. Next thing I do is I have to subtract off my x term on my left side. So I'm left with minus x plus y plus 3 is equal to negative 5, and I'm left with a negative 5 on the other side. Next thing I want to do is I want to get rid of the minus 5 because I want 0, so I add it, plus 5, and I add it to the other side as well, plus 5. So that leaves me with negative x plus y plus 8 equals 0, and I'm done. If we would have moved everything else to the other side, we would have just ended up with 0 on that side equals, and all the signs would be switched. So we'd have x minus y minus 8. This is acceptable too. Either one of those two forms is fine. It just depends if you move it to the left or to the right. One more example here I'm going to go through is, this is question 1e again, right from your textbook. I'm just going to do this one because it involves a fraction and a little bit of work first in order to get it into slope-intercept form and general form. So before I get it into slope-intercept form, I'm going to have to multiply or distribute the slope. Remember, this is in slope point form. I'm going to have to distribute the slope in through the set of brackets. So that gets me y minus 3 is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 4, because negative 1/2 times 8 is negative 4. It's like taking a half of 8. Half of 8 is 4. It's negative, so it's negative. Next thing I want to do is, again, right, you want to get rid of the 3, so you add it to both sides. So I'm left with y, which is what I want, equals negative 1/2 x, which is perfect because I have my slope right there, and then negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1, or minus 1, and I'm done because I have y equals m, my slope, x plus b, which is my y-intercept. Next thing I do is I do the same thing. I want to get rid of the 1/2, so I multiply it in first. Oops, to both set of brackets. So I'm left with y minus 3 on the left side, I haven't done anything there, equals negative 1/2, I'm going to put the x on top this time, minus 4, same step. Now I want to get everything over to one side. Typically in general form, the a, b, and c are not fractions. So I want to make that clear. The a, the b, and the c are not typically fractions. It's not wrong if you put a fraction, it's just not proper form. Whoops. So because they're not fractions, we have to get rid of the fraction, and we have a 1/2. How do I do that? I multiply everything through, actually I'll do that this way anyways. I multiply everything through by the 2, by the denominator. Look at the denominator, you see it's a 2, and multiply everything through by 2. Everything. What happens when I multiply the fraction by 2 is the 2 and the 2 bottom cancel. So 2 and the 2 in the bottom cancel. So I'm left with 2y minus 6 is equal to negative 1x minus 8. So I multiplied everything through by 2. What you could have done in this step right here before you multiply by 2 is I could have added the 4, and it would have saved me one less step adding here. And it would have saved me one less multiplication, but it's not a big deal. So now at this step, again, I'm doing general form, so I want to get rid of everything. Let's get rid of the x first. So I'm going to add the 1x and add the 1x. Notice there's no other x's on that side, so the x just kind of gets stuck in front. I'm going to do this all in one step. In order to get rid of the minus 8, I'm going to add the 8 as well, and add the 8. Notice that everything now on this side is going to be gone. So on the left side, I'm left with just a x. I'm not going to put a 1 in front. And then I have plus 2y, and then negative 6 plus 8 is plus 2 is equal to 0. And that's my general form. Again, if you moved everything from the left side to the right side, you would have gotten a 0, and all these signs would have been flipped. You would have had a negative x minus 2y minus 2. Either way is right. They're both fine. So that's how to convert your slope point form into slope intercept form and general form. And keep in mind with general form, typically we don't like fractions. So we multiply by the denominator to get rid of those fractions. If you have any questions, go through the video and then just let me know.